Hello friends, and welcome to your May 2022 Taroscopes with me, Intuitive Rene. It's always such an honor and a privilege to be here, and I hope you enjoy the content that is coming your way. So what are Taroscopes? What are the monthly Taroscopes, you may be asking? So it is 12 individual readings that are done using the same format, using the same structure, but obviously the reading itself is different, and I do one recording or one reading per sign of the zodiac. And basically, the idea behind these is to give you a little bit of guidance, a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of motivation for the month in question. In this particular case, May 2022. So normally, well, for the last couple of months, I've actually stuck with the same format and done the same kind of reading month for each of the months. But this month, I decided to change it up a little bit. So it is a little bit different from the normal, from the usual. And we're doing a 9-card reading, which is quite a detailed reading. I'm sort of looking at, we get the kind of theme for the month. We look at what you should be avoiding, what you should be embracing, what you need to be watching out for, what action you need to take on something. And then obviously we get a little bit of guidance from Spirit thrown in as well. So there is a lot of information. And obviously the readings are quite broad and quite, I'm almost going to say non-specific, but it's done so that you can apply it to your life regardless of what it is that you're going through. There are, I have to say though, in some of the readings, it does get quite specific as to what you can expect, what you need to do, what you need to watch out for, etc. But they are a lot of fun. And the idea behind them is to just to give you a bit of inspiration, to give you a bit of motivation, and just to help you navigate the month, yourself, your situations, and your circumstances. But it's really to help you be the best version of yourself that you can be. So the videos are put into a private or separate playlist on YouTube so that you can access them whenever you need to. And I do set the intention that it's done for your sun sign, your astrological sun sign, your moon sign, or even your rising sign. So if you know a little bit about your own astrology and you're curious about, on an emotional level, how are you going to be, then you would look at your moon sign, for example. Or if you just want to look up your family members or your children or your partner or whoever it is, you can. You have access to all 12 of the videos. So there will be a May 2022 playlist that you can access and that you can have a look at. And in the description of this particular video, I will have links to the others as well. So you could just, once you've watched yours, you can just open up the description at the bottom and you can go and access all the other zodiac signs as well. And the tarot cards that I'm working with this month, I say tarot cards, but I mean the cards that I'm working with this month is the Tarot of Mystical Moments and I've only got the lid of the box here, difficult to hold, and the Oracle of Mystical Moments. So they do work together, and they work together so well. So this is the pairing that I've chosen to use for our May 2022 forecast readings. So friends, these readings are free. There is absolutely no cost to you at all to access these readings. In exchange, all I ask is for you, if you enjoy the video, to give it a thumbs up. And if it speaks to your heart and soul, just leave me a little comment below. It's always so valued and appreciated. And if you haven't already done so, please do consider subscribing to my channel. So you get, on my channel, we do week ahead readings every Sunday. They are released for the week ahead. And then once a week on a Thursday, I have changed it from Fridays to Thursdays. So once a week on a Thursday, you will have some kind of inspirational content, whether it be a pick a card reading, whether it be taroscopes, whether it be whatever it is that comes to me. Occasionally there may be a little bit of a walkthrough of a new tarot deck that I've got, or anything that comes to mind. And I love your support. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I'm going to stop babbling, because you're not here to listen to me, you're here to get your insight into the month of May 2022. So we're gonna, this portion of the video that I'm recording right now, that you're listening to right now, is the same for all signs. So I'm recording one intro, which I stick in front of each of the 12 individual readings. So if you do go to watch another reading, it's like, oh, why is she saying the same things? It's because it's the same video. So, so as soon as I stop talking at this point, it'll go straight into the particular zodiac that you are watching, and then you will get your specific reading. I do hope that you enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your love and support. And I look forward to connecting with you shortly. Right, Gemini, let's get into your reading and let's have a look and see what the month of May 2022 has in store for you. Right, so I have shuffled the cards before I started the camera, but I do like to shuffle while I have you on camera with me, just to be transparent and clear in the reading. So what I'm going to do, shuffling badly apparently today. So this is the tarot deck that I'm shuffling at the moment, and I'm going to lay out the cards that we need from this deck. And then I'm going to lay out the cards that, the single card from the Oracle. And only once I've got all the cards on camera will I actually start with the reading. So if you want to fast forward past the shuffling, please feel free to do so. If you're on your computer, you can press the L on your keyboard. And if you're on your phone, you can just double tap the right-hand side of the screen. Okay, cards are shuffled. Let's lay them out and see what we get. Okay, so I'm not going to turn them over just yet. But as I said, do feel free to speed up and move past the laying out if it's not something that you enjoy watching. Try to make sure they all fit on camera. There we go. And now for the Oracle deck. Looking for a single card for the month of May 2022 for all Gemini energies. Gemini energies, May 2022. Single card, please. Okay. Now cutting the deck there and taking that card. Right. All our cards are on the table. Okay, so we're going to start, and I'm doing this a little bit differently this month in the way that I'm reading the cards, because I'm going to read this one first, then I'm going to read those two. So Gemini, this first card over here is going to give us an idea of you as you come into the month of May. So the energy that you're bringing into the month, like after what you've been through in April, what you've experienced in April. So as you start in the month of May, what is the energy that you're starting the month off on? So let's have a look and see. We have got the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man is a very interesting card, because the Hanged Man is the one that says that you're sort of hanging around in suspension, if I can put it that way. There's not a lot of activity, there's not a lot of progress, there's not a lot of action taking place. You're sort of just waiting patiently to see what happens. You're sort of watching and observing and checking everything out before you decide on your behavior, your action. So it's almost like whatever happened in April, you want to sort of like, okay, I just want to get into May. Let's just start the month. Let's just get a day or two or three into the month and see what it feels like before you jump into action or before you jump into any kind of behavior. So that is how you're sort of coming into the month of May. Now we're going to look at these two cards over here. In Gemini, these two cards are going to give us your theme for the month of May. So we've got an Oracle and a Tarot for the theme for the month. We're going to start with the Oracle first. And we have got Eva. Now, isn't she gorgeous? So she's a flower. I'm going to stick her there so that we have everything nice and clear on camera. So Eva is an interesting one. So she shows herself as a flower. She wants to look like she's all innocent and pure and sweet and kind and all these other kind of things. Now, I know that it's not easy to see, but she's even got a snake wrapped around her, or sort of hovering over her shoulders and coming into her chest. And she's not all that she seems to be. She's hiding a lot of her true self, okay? So she wants people to think of her as being sweet and innocent and kind and gentle and all of that, but actually the matter is she's wanting to take advantage of whatever's in front of her. Now, I know that sounds like awfully terrible, and I'm saying that this is your theme for the month ahead, but I think what this is saying, Gemini, Spirit is saying to you as we go into the month of May, and this is your birthday month, isn't it? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. It's almost towards the end of the month. So as we go into this month, it's almost like you need to be that person where people don't quite know who you are. They're going to sort of look at you and say, "Oh, look at her, so sweet and kind and whatever else." But actually, you've got a plan of action. You've got something sort of happening, simmering under the covers, under the surface, where that people don't always know. So I am going to tell you the theme for the month ahead is to not reveal your true purpose or your true motives until it's absolutely necessary. Let people think whatever they want to think about you. They don't know who you truly are. Now, the tarot is going to give us a little bit more information. So we're going to start off, though, just understanding that the month of May, it's like you're going to show yourself as one way or one kind when actually who you are is a little bit different from that. The tarot that we've got connected to it is the Nine of Wands. You know, and this is getting quite interesting, Gemini, because the Nine of Wands, you can see that she's got all these cuts all over her, okay? And they've all been stitched together. So she's being held together by string. It's been a long, hard, difficult road, a long, hard, difficult journey. And she's maybe feeling a little bit battered and bruised and maybe even a little bit taken advantage of. So with these two coming through as the theme for the month ahead, I think this is Spirit saying to you that you've got to realize that people don't necessarily care about you, okay? People don't necessarily always think about you when they're doing whatever it is that they want to do. And you have, for a long time now, been taken advantage of. And you're at this point now where it's like, time out. I don't want this anymore. I don't want to be taken advantage of. I don't want people to push me around and take advantage of me. So the theme for the month is we're going to hide ourselves. We're going to camouflage ourselves, if I can put it that way, so that people don't see our vulnerabilities and that people don't see how they hurt us in the past and how they betrayed us and let us down, etc., etc. So we're only going to show them what we think they need to see, and we're going to protect ourselves by hiding our most vulnerable. And if people get the wrong impression of us, so be it. So be it. And Gemini, I think this is something that you've got to realize. You've got to learn what parts of yourself to share publicly and what parts of yourself to hold. And you've got to ask yourself, because what's coming through so strongly with these two and the way that you're coming into the month is you've got to ask yourself every single time, what is the other person's motivation? So whenever anybody asks you anything, whenever you engage with anybody, interact with anybody, you've got to ask yourself, what is their motivation? Why are they saying that? Why are they doing that? Why are they asking for that? And when you recognize and understand people's motivations, I think it's going to give you the opportunity to make better choices, better decisions, and better actions for the whole month. So your theme is to recognize how you've been taken advantage of, to recognize that people are not, that you need to protect yourself and not show all those parts of yourself. Keep those vulnerabilities to yourself because you had a difficult time and people have taken advantage of you. All right. So that's our theme for the month, and this is how you've entered the month. What we're now going to look at is something that you need to accomplish, something that you will accomplish during the month of May. So let's have a look. What will you accomplish in the month of May? And we've got the Knight of Swords of that. She's climbed on her feather. The feather is her horse, so to speak. She's climbed on her feather and she's like charging on. Okay, so and this is quite interesting because all three of these are about stopping, are about stillness, are about waiting and not jumping into action. And then here, under what you will accomplish in the month, we've got jumping into action. So the Knight of Swords is somebody who charges ahead without too much thinking, without too much theory, without too much strategy or concern or whatever, just like, you know, jump on the horse and let's go kind of thing. And as far as something that you will accomplish, if you're immediately after listening to what we're saying about these three, if you're suddenly like, okay, so I mustn't do stuff in May, this is confirmation that no, you will do stuff, you will accomplish, you will achieve, but it's just the way that you go about it and what you reveal of yourself. The parts of yourself that you show to the world, that's the parts that we're going to hold back on while we are still driving forward, accomplishing our goals, accomplishing our dreams, and achieving many great things. Okay, so that is what you're going to accomplish during the month. Now let's have a look at what you should avoid. So during the month of May, what is one thing that you need to avoid at all costs? And we've got the Moon card. Now, this is interesting because the Moon is about our emotions. It's about our intuition. The moon is also about what lurks in the shadows, what hides in the shadows. So we've got some shadow stuff coming up here, okay? And this is something that you need to avoid. And I think it's saying that you need to avoid letting people see your vulnerability. So this is just a confirmation. We're coming into the month sort of just observing and just sort of watching and just being aware of what's going on, recognizing that not everything is as it seems, okay? That is how we come into the month. We also now suddenly starting to see that people don't know us, they don't see you as who you are, they don't recognize you, and there has been an element of advantage taking. What you're going to accomplish is progress on yourself, by yourself, for yourself. And you need to make sure that people see what you want them to see. I think that's the big thing here, is that you only let people see what you want them to see. Don't let people have carte blanche access to your feelings, your thoughts, your everything. Only let them see what those parts of yourself that you think are relevant and appropriate, because we're going to ask why. Why do they want that from you? Why are they behaving that way? Why are they saying that? Why? And we're only going to show them that which they need and nothing more. So that is something that you need to avoid. And now we're going to move over here, Gemini, and we're going to look at what you need to embrace. So something that you need to embrace during the month, and we've got the Five of Swords. So yeah, interesting kind of story coming through here, because Gemini, the Five of Swords is the card that says sometimes we have to do things that we don't particularly like, that we don't particularly want to do, like something that's completely out of character, but we actually have to do it, because if we don't, we're going to end up with more cuts and bruises and scars. So in order to avoid the bruises and the scars and the damage, we actually need to, and remember, this is what you need to embrace. So you need to recognize that you have to, I am going to say, you have to be the tough one this month, okay? You have to actually stand up and put people in their place and say things and do things that maybe go against your character, but it's the only way to safeguard yourself, to protect yourself, and to make sure that people are not taking advantage of you in the way that they ordinarily would. So we are going to avoid being completely transparent and avoid people seeing us for who we are. And we're going to embrace the fact that we may need to, I don't want to say be nasty, but yes, that you may need to be nasty. You may need to be a little bit more assertive in your interactions with people during the month of May. Now, next we have is an obstacle that you may need to overcome because of everything that we've said. So what is an obstacle that you have to work through in the month of May? And we've got the Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands is an interesting card, because this lady, I mean, she's a mountain. She's a lady. She stands way above the town or the city. Her hair has become these kind of ropes and, her strength. She's holding a ship and she's overlooking the ocean. So she's a lighthouse. She's a mountain. She's like so much bigger than everybody else. But you know what it is? She has this high vantage point, which means that people often look to her for decisions. People often look to her for help and guidance around what's best for them. And because she's so big and powerful, just like each of you, Gemini, because you are so big and powerful, mentally, emotionally, etc., people tend to lean on you. People tend to come to you for help and guidance. And as an obstacle, when you're so busy helping other people, when you're so busy being the lighthouse, nobody ever thinks about your needs, wants, and desires. So the common trend or the common theme that's coming through here, Gemini, is actually about recognizing your own needs, wants, and desires. Taking a minute to stop and observe. Okay? Observe everybody around you. Observe everybody, like what they do, why they do, how they do. And every time somebody comes to you for help, actually ask yourself why. Why are they coming to me? Is it just because I'm good at it? Is it just because I allow them? And is this something that I should be helping them with? Or actually, is this something that they should be doing on their own? So the Three of Wands as an obstacle is basically saying, be careful of doing too much for other people or making the big decisions for other people, because you're not actually doing yourself any favors. And maybe this is when we were looking at about embracing doing something that goes against your character. It's about saying no to people. You need to embrace that obstacle of people coming to you for help and guidance all the time, and you need to stand up to them and say, you know what, I'm not doing that anymore. You actually need to figure it out for yourself. I am not making those decisions for you anymore, because I am embracing in that part of myself and forcing you to overcome your own challenges because I've got my own stuff to deal with. All right, interesting. Next we have is a card of support. So Gemini, this is, obviously through all of this, there's very much this feeling of isolation. There's very much this feeling of you against the world. So let's have a look and see what support is actually available to you through this time. I love it. Got the Six of Wands. Six of Wands, such a beautiful card. First of all, it's a hummingbird, and the lady has figured out a way to control the hummingbird. She's figured out a way to, not to tame it, but just to make the hummingbird help her. So this is the card of success and victory. This is the card of people suddenly noticing and recognizing your accomplishments and the things that you've succeeded at. So when we stop doing for other people, the support that's available to you is for people to actually acknowledge who you are, what you are, and how much you've done for them. Okay, so the support that's available to you is the support of, maybe somebody going to help you to move towards your goals, to achieve the things you want. But success and victory is absolutely yours. But if you're so focused on doing for other people, you're never going to do for yourself. And that's what's available to you here. Right. So Gemini, we're now going to move into the action. So what are the things that you need to action this month, or what are the things that you need to be focusing on, the activities, physical action? And we've got the Knight of Pentacles. Interesting that it came up directly below the Knight of Swords. So here we had that movement. So there was definitely that progress and action happening. And here under your action card, the horse is standing still. So she's on the horse. The horse is absolutely capable of moving, of progress, of, all of those kind of things. But the horse is actually standing still. The action that you need to take is to stop, just like we had in the Hanged Man, because the Hanged Man is about pause. It's about suspension. Suspension, not stop. Okay, and that's exactly the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is saying, let's be practical. Okay, let's be real. Let's be practical. Let's not run or jump or fly into anything that we haven't actually prepared ourselves for or thought through. Okay, so the Knight of Pentacles as your action is saying, as much as you are quite capable and ready to progress and to go, let's take a minute to think about it for a second, and let's plan and strategize our next move before we actually carry it out. Because once we start going, once we start moving, we're not really going to be able to change our course of action if it's the wrong place, or if it's the wrong place that we need to be. Right, and then finally we have one more card, Gemini, and this is the card of the advice that Spirit have for you for the month of May. So what advice is there for you? I love that. You know what? It obviously looks like May. I don't want to say it's going to be a tricky month, because I don't think tricky is the right word, but it's certainly going to be a month where you're going to have to climb into your comfort zone. Okay? And obviously it is not something to do on a daily basis. It's not something to do very often. So it can be scary. Of course it can. And I think this is Spirit just saying, you know what? It's going to be okay. You need to dig deep within yourself. You need to yourself. You need to trust in the process. You need to trust in the situation. And I think the most important thing from this card, Gemini, basically Spirit saying that you need to recognize that you deserve happiness, that you deserve truth. You deserve to not have people take advantage of you all the time. You deserve a much better, happier life for yourself and for those in your life. But you do need to do things to make sure that happens. Not just trust in the process, and not just trust everything will work itself out, because it's clear that people are going to take advantage of you. So we're going to spend the month of May making sure that that doesn't happen, making sure that you're a strong, brave, courageous, that you see the truth, that you recognize the truth, and that you sort of put an end to anybody who tries to take advantage of you. All right. So it certainly looks like it's going to be a very interesting month for you, Gemini, but it also looks like you're ready for this, that you're made for this, and that you know exactly what it is you need to do, how you do it, when to do it, and to who you need to do it. All right, Gemini, I wish you a month of happiness, joy, and much strength. With love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care.